Coming up on Podcast Unlocked, episode 392, Sea of Thieves hits its 1-year anniversary and gets a big update. We'll talk about how that is playing. Some big Ghost Recon news incoming, along with that of another popular military shooter franchise. Plus, the developer of Rocket League finds a new home. They've been purchased by one of the bigger fish in the sea. Cross-platform news for Master Chief Collection. A little post-mortem on Scalebound, and a lot more coming up on this week's Podcast Unlocked.
Podcast Unlocked.
What's happening, friends? Welcome to Unlocked 392. I'm Ryan McCaffrey, joined by Miranda Sanchez.
Hello, I'm finally back.
You're back.
It feels like forever and a day since I've been on the show.
How was Japan?
It was delightful.
Yeah, from
So
the tweets
busy.
alone, I could tell you were living your life properly.
Yeah, absolutely. I was having a great time. Again, super, super busy. A lot of stuff to kind of produce from that trip, so very excited about
Good
all of
stuff.
it.
Mark Medina joining
Yeah.
us today.
It's my first time since it went audio, and I haven't heard that music in years. That's very weird.
Yeah, a lot of the...
I didn't know you went back and did all the old.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
now
old
that it's
stuff.
an audio first thing again,
Yeah.
we gotta make it an audio first experience.
No, that's very, very interesting. I'm glad to be back. Hi.
And
you got
for those-
to see Detective Pikachu, right?
Oh yeah,
Awesome.
my daughter is dying to go,
Yeah.
so I'm very glad to hear that I'll have fun too.
We got tickets for Thursday, so we're gonna go
Yes.
check it out.
Yeah, now it's not just me saying that it's great, so it feels better. Obviously, people are like, Miranda, you're just biased because you love Pikachu. And I'm like, hey, I'm probably the most critical of Pikachu things
Right?
because I love it so much.
that's like us with Halo.
Yeah,
where
it's
we
like,
sit
I'm
here,
not
or
just gonna blindly say I love something just because it's cute or because I like something involved with it. Like that's a little goofy. No, I'm so much more critical of it, and that's why when I went to that theater, I was like, wow, I hope this is good. And thankfully, it was very, very good. So
I love hearing that.
yeah, I think
Good
you'll get
stuff.
to enjoy it.
Mark, so
Yes.
Destin is lazy and
Yeah.
has his he's allowing mere illness to keep him from being here today.
Oh,
dare he.
I'm sick, and I don't want to get everyone else sick. And I was up all night, baby.
No, we wish Destin well. We'll talk to him maybe next week. He actually got to go to the Borderlands 3 event and played a ton of it. He streamed a lot of it on IGN. There's so many gameplay videos broken out from that. If you go to IGN's YouTube, check those out. Or just the Borderlands 3 page on IGN.com. You can find them all there as well.
Yeah, I got to cover it from home base, and it looks amazing. And Mitchell Saltzman also went, and I talked with him a ton, and he's like, it's really good. So I'm excited.
Glad to hear that. Well, Mark, you did play another game that the Xbox audience cares a lot about. So we've talked so much over the years now, about Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
But, we honestly haven't talked a lot about it in the past 6-8 months or so.
Yeah.
And to Rare's credit, they have continued with content update after content update, building on the skeleton of that game, pardon the pirate analogy there, but kind of fitting in this case, really. But to the point now where they're at their 1-year anniversary.
Yep.
And they put out a big anniversary update that includes a whole, not only a PvP mode,
The arena.
Yeah, the arena,
Yeah.
but also an entire multi-tiered, multi-step single-player, single-player or co-op campaign, like a whole quest series of quests. And you spent some time with it. I want to hear about that from you.
Sea of Thieves is this weird. I have a soft spot for games like this. I go back to No Man's Sky a lot too. Games that didn't have a lot of content, but then it's like, so then they just do all these free updates, and every so often I'm like, I'm just gonna go back in. And Sea of Thieves, I love playing it on PC, and it's one of those Game Pass games. I think it's all their first party. Yeah,
Play anywhere.
So if you have Game Pass, you get to play it on PC, and so we were just like, let's just jump back in. Let's just see what's new. And so there's the arena, there's the campaign, but then there's like a bunch of little stuff. There's fishing, there's cooking,
Nice.
there's hunting animals. I don't know when they added the megalodon, but the megalodon's in there now.
Been
And
in for a
Yeah,
while.
big shark.
that's terrifying. And then there's just other stuff like your ship can get damaged in new ways. Like they can break the mast off, and that's stuff you have to fix, and it's harder than just patching holes.
Right.
They can hit holes. If they hit a hole and they do it again, it becomes a bigger hole. So it's not just like they just added more ways to destroy your ship. And then now there's like a 3-person ship, which I know that's not super brand new, but it's new to me.
So like a sloop. If the two-person ship is a sloop, like Miranda and I were sailing around when the game first came out.
Yeah.
A sloop?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's actually called.
It's called the
evolved
Brigante or Brigantine or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. The campaign's like actually pretty fun because it has you. There's like some Uncharted stuff in there, which is kind of weird. Like for example, there's a part where you have
boxes?
to. It's like you go into a room and you have to light these pillars, and once you light them, you have to turn these giant blocks to match up with stuff that's in your notebook, all while the room is filling with water that you can drown. And so you got to kind of like coordinate with your team, or you can do it by yourself.
Oh, cool. So like, good puzzle things.
Yeah, there's like puzzle stuff, and there's just different ways to like interact with the world. Like before, it was like, here's an island, and here's where the treasure is. So then you'd go there and you'd get it, and the only thing you had to figure out is what island it is. And now it's like, oh, we were running away from the bad boys, and we were at this island, and then we went east, and then we saw this string of islands, so then we went north, and so then you have to read it on the notebook, and then you have to like look at the map and kind of find your way there. They're like, we found one that looked like a teardrop, and you're like, okay, and they're like, then we went south, and that's where we dropped the chest, and so you have to like.
I've always loved that about Sea of Thieves, where it's just there's not a mini map or a breadcrumb trail that literally takes you there. You have to use the contextual clues to figure stuff out.
So it's really there's a whole bunch of changes, and like the fishing is like the mini game is pretty typical. It's like tire the fish out and then reel it in, but it's something to do when you're just sailing. You know, like
That's
you
so
can just
fun, though.
throw
Like,
some fish out. You know.
I mean, I love those kind of mini games. Like, like fishing and cooking, it just adds like a kind of other element to do in between everything else, right? But if it's done well, it doesn't just feel like it's padding. It's just an enjoyable pastime in addition to everything else you're already doing.
It's just an extra layer on the experience.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're going to go do this thing. Well, I'm going to cook up some stuff while you do that. And just, it's like a nice solo thing that you can do. Can you kind of cook anywhere? Or
you can cook in your ship. There's at the bottom. There's like a stove there, but then you can cook on like at the outpost. There's like a pot on fire or whatever, and you just drop. You can cook your bananas.
You can't grill up on the deck out in the open seas.
Not on the deck.
Feel the salty sea air.
You can fish, and we kept almost running into stuff because we would just we're all just like concentrating on fishing, and then it's like someone's like, guys, we're going straight for an island, and it's like, who's gonna give up? Who's gonna stop fishing to fix the ship because we're about to die?
You're gonna sink, yeah.
And so somebody would have to pull their line in and go and move the ship. But it's like, oh man, this thing is like really far away, and then you start fishing and you're just talking, and next thing you know, you're there.
Yeah, it's just like those nice little mundane things to do in between stuff that I think I really appreciate because I think they're often overlooked in games.
Yes.
One of my favorite game moments, weirdly, is from Gravity Rush 2, and you can go wait in line to buy a crepe. Like, you have to wait in line.
And
it seems very dumb if you're like, why would you like that? But I think that's just something that really immerses you in that world. And, like, obviously, like, you're flying around and, like, shooting things with your gravity powers, and it's so cool. But then, like, kind of taking a moment to do something like that just really settles you in that game.
If you had to do that everywhere for everything in the game, it wouldn't be fun. But as like a one-off, certain just calming complimentary activity, it works.
Yeah.
You also get to deliver newspapers in that game using your gravity powers.
That game's great. But back to Sea of Thieves, like that's why I'm kind of excited to see them add these other kind of tasks, and that may seem like just filler content, but I think it's actually really genuine.
Yeah.
Well, it helps because you can take the fish and you can turn it in. There's a new faction called the Hunter's Call, and you can turn them in there and get faction points, which gives you cosmetics, or you can eat the fish because it gives you more health than, like, let's say a banana were.
Right.
So if you were going to go take on some enemies or whatever, you could fish along the way because now you're getting better healing items.
Does cooked food, like, do obviously probably better healing as well?
Yeah.
Can you, like, make different kinds of food?
No,
or is it
it's
just
more
like
just like
a cooked version of the thing that you have.
Yeah, just like whatever's in your hand, you can put it in there.
Cool.
I would imagine because it's like a whole inventory system now. It used to just be the like radial wheel, and you can like you go up to a barrel and you just like click, 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 and you pick it up. Now, when you actually have an inventory, where you push tab, or I don't know, it'd be on Xbox, but and it shows you everything in your inventory. When you go up to a barrel, it shows its inventory, and you can drag stuff
Nice.
over. And so they're definitely like improving the UI to make even more future updates. It's what it looks like.
I love it. Miranda, we got to get back in there at
We
some
do.
point.
Our
Gotta-
soup adventures continue.
Yes, we got to find a time.
Got to go find more storms.
Yeah.
to get lost.
Well, and you
That
can do
was
the
so
quest.
great, though.
Yeah.
The quests only take like a few hours. There's like 9 of them.
Oh, dang.
And what's cool is after you do them, you can do them again, and they'll be different. Like
Nice.
the whole like go to this island, and then we went here and we went there. That'll be a little different next time.
Yeah.
Because I've done it 3 times and it was different every time.
Randomized.
All right, we're gonna find a time.
Yeah,
We're gonna
absolutely.
find a day at a time. Probably like maybe a Saturday night when there's just nothing else going on, and we'll do it.
I'm ready.
We'll get out there.
Also, the game's still gorgeous.
That's
course.
true. That is
Amazing
has
looking
not changed at all. Real quick, just want to plug Dennis Dyack is my IGN Unfiltered guest this month. If you want to check that out, I'm not going to append it to the end of this episode. I'll let people go out and seek it if they want. Just consider last month was like the free trial. Now you can get a free
thank you.
subscription. Still costs you nothing. So Dennis, you may know him. He was the lead driving force behind Too Human, the would have been trilogy for the Xbox 360 that was derailed for a number of reasons. Chief among them, the lawsuit regarding the Unreal Engine. Silicon Knights, the developer, sued Epic Games, the makers of the Unreal Engine, and Dennis addresses that for the first time publicly. He also made what is my personal favorite GameCube game ever, Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. What a great.
So we talk a lot about that. He also got to work with Kojima. Silicon Knights did Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, the GameCube remake of the original Metal Gear. So a lot of interesting ground to cover with Dennis. If you want to hear from an interesting game developer, you can do that on IGN Unfiltered, which you can find on YouTube, on IGN, or your favorite podcast service. All right, let's do some news right after this. All right, Ghost Recon. News for that is incoming. Ubisoft officially announcing that a Ghost Recon world premiere event is coming on May 9th at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. I wonder what that could be.
Me too.
A world premiere event, it's probably going to be a new game. And if you do the math on it, it kind of works. It's been a little over 2 years since Wildlands. So I doubt they would do a world premiere event for a content update, considering that, I mean, if you look at probably their biggest, coolest content update was the Michael Ironside Splinter Cell. Michael Ironside back voicing Sam Fisher. They did that Splinter Cell mission. They didn't do a world premiere live stream for that. So it tells me that this is probably a new Ghost Recon game.
Sure.
And if it is, well, we'll be watching, and we encourage you to watch on IGN as well. I will say I saw some reactions to this on my Twitter feed that expressed some disappointment, speaking of Splinter Cell, that a Ghost Recon announcement probably means that Splinter Cell won't also be announced anytime soon, that they probably wouldn't both be out, developed and releasing around the same time, which maybe not a perfect thing. It's not necessarily the case, but it's probably a reasonable assumption that they're
Yeah.
not going to stack Splinter Cell and Ghost Recon on top of each other in the release calendar. But I look at that as good news because Splinter Cell's my favorite Tom Clancy brand, and if Ghost Recon coming around now means, if in fact that does mean that no Splinter Cell is imminent, well, that just means that Splinter Cell's going to be a next-gen game whenever it does come around.
Could be.
And I would much rather have, at this point, after waiting this long, give me Splinter Cell on a new console.
That's definitely the weird and very exciting thing of knowing that anything that's not coming out right now is probably going to be next gen.
Yes.
And that's, like, we don't know what that looks like yet. And that's super exciting. It's like they're going to be so pretty and shiny and hopefully powerful. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
It's an
Probably
exciting
will be.
time right now. It's
Yeah.
it's very strange. Looking at like what's coming out this year and thinking that this is probably PS4 and Xbox One's last like fall
Full year.
as far
Yeah.
as far
Fall. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, big
window,
fall
'cause
release.
It's like obviously any game that's going to come out on Scarlet or PS5 next year's most definitely still going to come out for Xbox One.
Almost
PS4.
assuredly, yeah.
But it's like in the industry we live in, we'll all be covering these next gen consoles. I'm just excited
We
because
live them.
the only console hardware I've been here for is Switch, so that was brand new, so that was cool, and then PS4 Pro and Xbox One X. So I haven't got to work.
You haven't gotten
Brand
the
new.
full
I
experience
haven't got
yet.
Xbox Scarlet, PlayStation 5.
Yeah, right there with you. I remember when everyone ordered their PS4s, like pre-ordered them and had them delivered here, and you guys had like that mass unboxing.
Yeah.
We
Pretty
did,
sure it was for that.
And I think we did one for
For
Xbox as well.
Yeah, I remember watching those and be like, wow, I got mine too, guys.
We were going to try to do that for Switch
Yeah.
because so many people got Switches, and then Amazon messed up, and most people in the office didn't get their Switch until like the next Monday. And then by then, everyone was just like,
Yeah, I got mine since my...
like everyone had already opened theirs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so Splinter Cell would probably be in that next gen bucket. I mean, Halo Infinite, as we've talked about, is even though Microsoft won't say it yet, that's going to be the flag.
You don't think Infinite's this year?
No,
No,
it's not.
I'm just so excited. I want Halo.
I would be shocked. Like they have
Well,
said
because
they'll be at E3.
they're going to do Gears this year.
Yes,
Yeah, which I'm also still very excited for.
they're not gonna release Gears and Halo.
Yeah.
And in the last year of this platform when Microsoft is their whole strategy has been ready,
Yeah.
make the most of what's left of this generation,
Yeah.
but their sights are set on the next one.
Yeah.
So
That's actually kind of why I've been holding off on getting an Elite controller, because I really wanted one for so long. I was just like, should I? And I was like, no.
I mean,
just wait.
it'll almost
Just
certainly
wait.
be compatible with Scarlet, but you're right. Maybe there'll be a new version of it.
Yeah. And I've heard rumors like always, it's like, no, just wait, there's going to be another one. And I was like, but is there?
There hasn't been
think
yet.
it's so
I hope
long,
it's
yeah.
compatible. I just got the Phantom White Xbox.
It will be.
controller.
There's no way they'll toss with how they're building the ecosystem and
Yeah.
all the games are compatible. All the old games compatible on the new stuff. There's no way they're going to leave all the
Yeah.
accessories behind like that.
That's another reason I'm very excited for this console generation. Is like it seems like when PS4 and Xbox One came out, it was like, okay, PS3 and Xbox 360 are old news. Here's the new stuff. Where it kind of feels like with PS5 and Scarlet, the news that we've gotten so far is that they're just an upgrade and they're going to have their own games. They're not like Xbox One X or PS4 Pro, but they're also thinking about what's happening now. And they're like, hey, the games you're buying are still going to work. And that's very exciting.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, if in fact this is a new Ghost Recon, as it sure seems to be, what excites me about it is not only, I mean, hey, I do love Ghost Recon. It's always been a favorite of one of my favorite Clancy franchises. I guess it would probably be my second favorite behind Splinter Cell. I've always been a big Ghost. Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six kind of started as like two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Like Rainbow Six used to be the indoor, like tactical close quarters game, and Ghost Recon was like the same thing, but in a big outdoor, like giant forest
take it
map kind of
outside,
thing.
kids.
Yeah, exactly. And they've definitely taken divergent paths since then, and that's actually that very reason is why I am looking forward to a new Ghost Recon, because I went back and looked at the history of Ghost Recon, and they've never just like repeated the same thing over and over with that game. Like the original Ghost Recon, even Ghost Recon 2 was fairly different than 1 because they went third person with it. The original Ghost Recon was first person. So they for 2 they made it third person. And yeah, there were some expansion packs on the original Xbox, but then you had Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter early on. Yeah, GRAW early on in the 360 life cycle. That was a very different game than Ghost Recon 1 or 2. And then yes, there was a GRAW 2 like a year later. But then after that, there was a long break until Future Soldier for 360, which was a very different game than any of the ones before it. And now here we are. So, up then, and then Wildlands.
Yeah.
Wildlands was fairly different than Future Soldier. And now, and that brings us to today. So Ghost Recon's always kind of done its own thing. And I like that they're not just samey sequels. So I'll be curious what the deal is with the new one.
I will admit I've never played a Ghost Recon game. I love Ubisoft.
You're missing
games.
out. They're good.
Yeah, I love Ubisoft games. Just the Tom Clancy ones never seem to grab me.
No?
Like I play a little bit of
fair.
Division.
Yeah.
Because it's probably like the least Tom Clancy of the Tom Clancy games. But like I've never like I love Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs but like yeah, I never played Siege, never played any Ghost Recons, never any
None of the Splinter Cells? Wow. I guess well, it's been fun having you on the show, Mark. The door is right there.
See you guys. Wait, but we're about to talk about Call of Duty soon.
We are. I guess we should keep you
I
around
want to stay for that.
Yeah, so speaking of new announcements in existing military shooter franchises, it is about the time of year where we should have NBA playoffs is typically when they do a big. I'm serious.
No,
they
yeah,
usually
it
did.
is.
Yeah,
It's aligned with sports.
Mm-hmm.
Very
and smartly. Hey,
Yeah,
it's
makes a lot of
worked.
sense.
It's worked very well for them. I believe. It was last year. James Harden of the Houston Rockets was spotted wearing a Black Ops 4 logo hat.
Yep.
Prior to the announcement of Black Ops 4. Which they made a big circus event out of. I was there as part of E3 Judges Week.
Well, and something happened already this year where it was like some sort of sports event.
I forget which sportsmen did it.
The sports guys. And something, they were playing the game and a video leaked out of it. And they
have like this
Call of
hashtag
Duty
going on for like this. Yeah, that there was stuff already obviously mentioning the next Call of Duty is coming. We're like, yeah.
But it's like you can hear them say the words kill streak, which that's nothing new.
Yeah.
And then somebody says that if they like slowed it way down and like up the sound, you can hear them say Modern Warfare 4. That's a lot of speculation.
It is.
I listened to it and I didn't hear Modern Warfare 4.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, I mean that's what are they going to do, right? So it's Infinity Ward's turn.
Yep.
They got the 3 development teams, as we've known, that's been in place for a while now. Do you go to Infinite Warfare 2? I would argue probably not. Like the campaign was received reasonably well, but it seemed like just interest in that game died off very quickly.
Yeah.
That and Infinite Warfare's, if you are going to go off of that, their campaign, I mean, it ended. Like it
I think it's
had an ending.
Right.
That
you're done with that universe. Like we can move on.
Yeah, and they're
none of those characters would be in Infinite Warfare 2.
They're sure as hell not going back to Call of Duty Ghosts, which was
They're going to bring the dog
What
back.
happened?
the
to
worst.
Riley?
No, the single worst campaign in the Call of Duty
Do you guys
franchise.
want to know a secret?
Yeah.
That was the first campaign for Call of Duty I ever played.
Oh,
no.
so sorry. Oh,
So in growing up in like middle school and high school, when I played Call of Duty, I would never touch the campaigns. Which is
you
like
were missing out
travesty.
back
I know,
then, yeah.
I know. And like I've gone
a
back
lot of
and like
people were
tried to
like
like
that,
kind of research them and play as much as I can since then. But I was one of those people who went straight to multiplayer. Like I did not care about the campaigns because like I wanted to start, just grinding and like getting familiar with weapons and getting the maps and like being super competitive. So like campaign didn't really hold a lot of interest to me until now. But
Yeah, it's funny.
Ghost was
I've told this story before, but I knew like 15 minutes in to the Ghost campaign that it was going to be bad because I'd played every single Call of Duty campaign up
nice.
to that point, and so I sat down like with Ghost. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this because it's and. In the first 15, I could tell like this is not going well, and then I suffered through like an hour or two of it, and I was like, I was gonna finish it as a matter of like pride, really, like
for completion
because I finished every campaign, and then I was like, I had to convince myself, why am I doing this? So I let it go.
Do you still play them? The campaign?
Has there
the
been
last
one?
Wasn't one.
Yeah, we're Ghosts. So what was after Ghosts? Black Ops 3.
This was nice.
Black Ops 3 did not have a campaign. It had levels.
Black Ops 3?
Yeah, it had like missions.
I don't remember.
It was not a full campaign arc.
Okay.
And I didn't play it.
And then Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare I played about same thing, like 2 hours of.
Okay.
And I didn't hate it like I hated Ghosts. Mm-hmm. But it didn't hold my interest to continue it.
And then World War II.
That I finished.
World War II was pretty good.
It was pretty good.
I really liked the campaign.
I wanted to see them do more. There's no spoiler embargo at this point. You guys need to have played the game by now.
Sorry.
It's 2 years old.
I wish they'd have done more with the concentration camp stuff. It was sort of
right.
You kind of almost literally rush through it at the end, like they. Mm-hmm. And I get that that's a very difficult issue
It's a touchy,
to
yeah.
try and. But the game, I felt like the game
When it's
missed
not
an
even
opportunity.
really gameplay, it's actually more like just like a walking.
Yeah, and I thought they
Right.
kind of missed an opportunity to say something
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
to really, have to give a,
I kinda
tell a
felt-
story through that.
I kind of felt like that about the whole campaign. Is World War II is there's so many stories there, but they got to do the Call of Duty,
Right.
action. There's the big train sequence. There's the big bell tower sequence.
Right.
and It's very Call of Duty-fied.
It also just feels limited because it is Call of Duty, and like they don't want to take too much time with the campaign. Like it's obviously they want to do it right, but they don't want you there too long.
Yeah.
Like that's
Sure.
what it always feels like with me. It's like
I
we
did-
want to keep it limited to like maybe 8 hours or so.
I did enjoy World War II's campaign overall, though. Like,
Yeah, me too.
I would say the campaign for me is probably a 7 something. Like, I would say it's good. It was good.
Oh, World War II had the really cool like stealth mission and
Yeah, that
campaign was-
part was
Oh, yeah.
really
Yeah.
cool.
yeah,
I
there
do
was some
remember that.
there was some really good stuff.
Yeah, there
sure.
were some like really great highlights with its vignettes.
Well, it's not a
and
stealth.
characters.
It's a like an infiltration. And
Right, yeah.
that was super cool.
Yeah, where
I
you
remember
had
that.
to like present your papers and
Yeah, and they would like ask you questions, and you
Yes.
had to like memorize your thing. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
yeah, that was very good.
And the Black Ops 4 no campaign at all. So I'm
Zero.
kind of ready for a good Call of Duty campaign. I think this one's going to have one.
You think it's gonna be good?
Oh, I don't know if it's going to be good.
I mean,
Well, that-
I'm ready for a good one.
I don't know. I
I
feel-
think this one's going to have a campaign.
And I think there's you have good reason to believe that because again, Infinity Ward now they had made those highly publicized Naughty Dog hires.
yeah, Taylor
Right.
Kurosaki
right.
and someone else.
That did work on Infinite Warfare and
Yeah.
now have been there. If they weren't there for the full development cycle last time, they have been this time.
yeah.
So yeah, I think you're right. Is their strength would seem to lie in
Right.
narrative.
Yeah.
Why would they keep
Maybe.
these talents on?
Right.
Why would those talents stay on if they weren't going to go
Right.
campaign? Yeah,
and
for sure.
so yeah, we'll see if it's probably either going to be something new, a new sub brand,
Mm-hmm.
not Ghosts, not Infinite Warfare, or maybe this is going to be Modern Warfare 4.
I kind of would rather see them do something new. I definitely would. Like I'm very curious to see what they do this year since last year, obviously no campaign, but also they had the Battle Royale. Like Blackout, is that still just kind of going to be its own thing, or is there going to be any cross collaboration?
It's a big
like
question.
Supporting Blackout.
Yeah, how many people are
can't-
going to stay on to Black Ops 4 if there's no Battle Royale
Right.
in the
right,
new
'cause
game?
The way Battle Royale works is just so different from like
Right.
other kinds of shooters. And it's like, how do they integrate that with the new release of Call of Duty? Do they even care? And also like what sort of new modes are they going to bring?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Do you think, regardless of whatever this year's Call of Duty game is, do you think it will at the very least ship with Blackout that currently exists, so just as like to get it to more people and to make sure it continues to be supported and
I think
put
that
out
would
there?
be very interesting if they did that. I think it could be actually rather cool to see them support it like that across different studios and across games even.
But then it's like,
I kind
who
of don't
works
believe
on
in
it
them doing
anymore?
that though. I
Yeah.
kind of don't see them wanting to do that just
What if-
because they keep everything so different. And I think that's actually a thing that stunts Call of Duty as a esport actually because of these annual releases
And-
like changes it up always.
You're right. I mean, and that's why they have to adapt. They have no choice but to adapt. So, yeah, I wonder if
Well, because it brings up the question: who then works on Blackout?
Treyarch.
Is it still Treyarch?
Yeah.
they
But
have
then
to
that's
support
going
it.
to hinder. They're not up next year. Next year will be Sledgehammer.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Right.
So then Treyarch is 2 years away from their next thing. But if they're still like, it's kind of
But
this
if that's
weird
a different
thing.
team splintered off,
right,
working
it's
together with
yeah.
it's basically
Blackout, like,
it's a
that's-
support team effectively.
they would
at this
have
point.
to do that because this is the first time where it's like
That's what you need to do to support a battle
Yeah.
royale. You have to have
is you have to
working
keep
on
it going, and they
Mm-hmm.
have been like the Blackout. There was just a map change like a week ago, where they flooded the map. It's super awesome. I haven't stopped playing it. They brought Alcatraz. They brought in this like bounty hunter mode. So it's like they care about Blackout, and I think the community cares about Blackout. But this is the first time where it's like a new Call of Duty has come out where people are not super down to just jump to the new thing if they
Right.
don't have a replacement for Blackout.
Right, and I don't know. I'm always just curious to see like how that changes too with like the announcements of like what will they have next. So a lot of people actually reached out to me about World War II, weirdly enough, and about its multiplayer, but like, hey, why are these modes disappearing? Like, why is this thing like splintering? Like, why are they reducing these things? It's like because the player base is leaving. If they don't have enough people in this game to populate all their servers or like all these different game modes, they can't offer all of them because you'll never find a game. And so they'll start consolidating them. And like, like we talked about a while ago about like Call of Duty kind of gets weird after a while.
Yeah.
Like they add like fun, weird modes just because it's time to like let loose and just
and they just did that for Black Ops 4. They just added Prop Hunt, which was a World War II mode, and it's like now that Prop Hunt's in Black Ops 4, you kind of see that it's like okay,
the signs of death.
All we need is gesture mode, and then that's it. We're out.
But that's the thing with Call of Duty, right? Is like fans get really attached to these, or like the certain people who really do get attached to one game is like, this is my Call of Duty. This is the one that I love and the one I want to like keep with. But the rest of the Call of Duty group just moves on to the next one, and that's the thing with Blackout is like, do they keep that with the next one, which I think would be way smarter. That would be the right play, I would assume, so you can keep that supported.
I just looked something up to make sure my own memory was correct, and thankfully it was. If this is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, I wonder if the strategy will be Infinity Ward focuses on Modern Warfare 4, and they try to make an excellent Call of Duty campaign again. Blackout is just included and continues to be supported. Maybe there's some other multiplayer stuff, but what if to fill out the package, it's 2019, which puts the 10th anniversary of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a remaster. They've already remastered Modern Warfare 1. Maybe Raven remasters Modern Warfare 2, and they include that.
Well, that's kind
in
of
the Modern Warfare
thing. Like,
and that's what I'm saying.
Warfare 2?
So I wonder if that's the approach for it's Infinity Ward doing the COD 4 or Modern Warfare 4 campaign, Raven in there with a Modern Warfare 2 remaster. Whether they lock that off to $80, $100 special editions is another matter, but moot for this conversation. And then on the multiplayer side, maybe they have some general multiplayer stuff, but Blackout is
like the meat of it.
They're always gonna have their
we'll
multiplayer suite. Yeah, Blackout. It's so weird. It's very
interesting.
It's
a strange thing to consider going forward. Just if they want to stay in that game, they have to support it beyond just one game. They have to keep pushing it. So we'll definitely see. I don't know. Infinity Ward's probably my least of the favorite of the 3 Call of Duty studios since that group splintered off.
Well, yes, since they all left and became Respawn.
So I'm still kind of waiting for them to find that spark of like what really works for them.
You're right. I mean, and that's fair. And not that they've had
was really good, but
their zombies was really good in Infinite Warfare. Yeah, and they still have the same zombies team.
Right.
Sledgehammer will be interesting next year too because they've had a lot of studio changes.
Glenn and Condry, the 2 studio heads, are out, and I don't know if those are the public ones. I don't know if they took anybody with them.
But it's like they're the ones that like left Visceral, made Sledgehammer, tried to make the Call of Duty MMO or whatever you want to call it, Call of Duty World, made Advanced Warfare, which kind of like reignited people's love for Call of Duty, and then made World War II. And I mean, we'll see.
Yeah,
it's a lot of weird, stuff going on.
I really like their zombies. It's so fun.
Which one?
World War II's.
Ooh,
I like that
spooky
horror aspect. It's like, I get why people like the goofy stuff.
Yeah.
And it's probably easier for me because I don't like scary things, but I actually like the scary one more. So it's like,
it was like a
give
total
me creepy, gothy gore. And
it was a total palette change because it was like zombies in Spaceland, and now we're back in the 50s and a TV show, and then it was like, now we're not messing around. It's like creepy London streets and scary zombies. That was fun.
Well, we'll find out soon. I never even got to the point of that story, which is hilarious. We just went off on that huge Call of Duty tangent. During last week's Activision financial call, which discussed the results of the company's Q1 2019, it was confirmed that the next Call of Duty would be revealed later on in 2019's second quarter. So, in other words, by
this month or next month.
This month or next month, by the end of June, which probably means E3, if not sooner.
The thing is they always do May because they don't announce Call of Duty usually at E3.
Correct.
They announce it before on their own event.
So it could be any time now.
But what's going to be weird, exactly. But what's going to be weird is Call of Duty has a PlayStation alignment,
right?
And there's no PlayStation show.
So
correct.
Do you have a talk scheduled for E3 Coliseum? already.
Oh, okay.
I believe it is Infinity Ward, and they're just gonna be like, we're going to talk about the history of Call of Duty, which means we're going to talk about the new Call of Duty. So, we'll see.
All
So
good
they
stuff.
carved out a space
They
for themselves.
do have something there
Cool.
at
right.
E3
Rocket League,
for Call of Duty.
developed by Psyonix. That's the name of the studio behind that game. They've been bought by Epic. Epic's snapping them up. Psyonix saying, quote, Rocket League always has been and always will be a community-driven game, and now that we've joined forces with Epic, we'll be able to serve our community in even bigger and better ways. As for those changes, in the short term, Psyonix claims that nothing will change at all, and in the future, it plans on bringing Rocket League to the Epic Game Store and will grow the game in ways it couldn't do before. So this is just a great little story of a little developer that totally just hit the big time.
Rocket League is such a weird story. Started as a game that didn't work, but it was free on PlayStation Plus the second it came out, and then just to see where they are now.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah, it is great to see. So just a quick word of congrats on there. And I think there's going to be no effect on Xbox players in the near term. The concern from the community, the momentary concern was on PC side that
If
they
they
would
take it away
yank
from
it from Steam,
Yeah.
but they have said that that is not going to happen.
Which is
So,
a great call. Which is what Microsoft did. A lot of people were afraid of Minecraft. And they were like, no, Minecraft's still everywhere.
Yep.
It's got put on Switch after they had acquired it and everything.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That's the answer. Let's see. Let me skip. I'm running out of time here a little bit, but real quick. Master Chief Collection. It is on its way to PC, Mark.
It sure is.
You gonna play it on there?
Yay.
Yes.
Little 4K hot Master Chief Collection action.
No, I don't.
think-
I don't 4K game on PC.
I think I'm
but I
actually
will
gonna
play it.
on PC as well.
Yeah.
I think so. Been enjoying
It
that
will
way.
feel differently. I mean, I played a lot of Halo 1 PC, which Gearbox did, who we were talking about at the top
Yeah.
of the show. They did that way back in the day.
That was an okay port.
It was good, well done, and the new maps that they added were really good. But it's a little weird at first playing a Halo game with a mouse and keyboard.
Feels like blasphemy. I'm a little
bit.
a little worried.
It's
little bit,
definitely an
but-
Xbox game.
Yeah, you get used to it. So yeah, I have no doubt that MCC will play well on the PC. But they are there's going to be cross-platform progression. So if you're playing it on Xbox, or if maybe you just want to pick up the PC version and you've got saves in the middle of all 4 of the campaigns, or actually 6 of the campaigns
and
now.
multiplayer.
You can just pick up right where you left off.
Essentially, if
Hooray.
you
On
have
PC.
Game Pass, you're just getting the game for free.
That's
It'll
true.
just be over there.
So, yeah, this comes via WCCF Tech. Brian Gerard, who's the community director at 343, shout out to Brian. Brian was the internal, basically kind of PR guy at Bungie back in the OG Halo days, and now he's back on Halo, but with 343. Yeah, he took a question from Twitter, and he said, in terms of playing together cross-platform, that's currently not planned for launch, but it's something the team is accounting for and will reevaluate over time. But he did say that progression, unlocks, stats, etc., will carry over between
Perfect.
PC and console. So.
I could see it happening. So Sea of Thieves has straight up just crossplay, mouse, keyboard, doesn't matter. And while that game's not super competitive, like Halo, it is kind of funny that when I play on PC, I do get to kind of wreck some people because you can tell they're playing on controller.
yeah.
Now, Sea of Thieves on Xbox, because my wife plays on Xbox, has new mouse and keyboard options.
Oh,
so you can
right.
plug a mouse and keyboard
good.
into your Xbox and play Sea of Thieves. So I'm wondering, they said that it was going to be up to the developers. So if they go back and add mouse and keyboard support and make mouse and keyboard servers for the Xbox version, then you could totally see crossplay happen.
Absolutely.
And
At
I
that point,
think they
That'd be
should. That'd be
fair.
awesome.
sure. I think you're totally right. Yeah, and I have to say, it might be time willing, which is always the problem. Might be about time to re-review the Master Chief Collection. I have since, so I reviewed it,
Yeah, and it had a lot of problems back then, right?
and I have many times admitted I think I got that score wrong at the time. That was actually one of the games. It was that and Battlefield 4 at the time, and there was 1 or 2 other big ones that actually finally motivated us to sit down, and that's when we changed our review system to allow for reviews in progress and re-reviews if
If the game's changed.
if it merits it, and not only the game, if the game and the audience interest merits it at some point down the way. And yeah, I do feel like I got it wrong in the moment. The irony is, even I feel it probably does merit a re-review. Although the 9 I gave it then might actually have come back around to eventually be correct now. But yeah, I think Master Chief Collection and Sea of Thieves would be the two
definitely need
that,
one, I
that
think.
definitely merit a re-review from IGN. So we'll try and get that together. I mean,
have they added Reach to Master Chief Collection, or is that closer to the
not-
PC launch?
yeah, I don't think it's in yet.
But
Last
ODST's in.
It's been in for
a while.
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for Reach. I love Reach.
Yes. All right. Moving on. Platinum Games. They, in an interview, the studio head has expressed, just kind of lamented that Microsoft has taken the, quote, brunt of the blame for Scalebound's cancellation. This is the studio head of Platinum. His name is Atsushi Inaba. The interview is with Video Games Chronicle, and I spotted this via True Achievements, that website, so just want to tip the hat there. And Inaba-san says, quote, watching fans getting angry at Microsoft over the cancellation wasn't easy for us to watch, because the reality is when any game in development can't get released, it's because both sides failed. I think there are areas where we could have done better, and I'm sure there are areas that Microsoft as a publishing partner wish they could have done better. Because nobody wants a game to be canceled. At the bare minimum, it's unique for us as a title in so much as we feel that we didn't do all the things that we needed to do as a developer. There were a lot of painful lessons, but that helped us grow as a studio. We obviously can't go into details about it because there are rules of engagement as a developer. We want to make sure that the publisher who gave us a choice to make a game in the first place isn't treated poorly. The truth is, we don't like to see Microsoft take the brunt of the fan ire because game development is hard, and both sides learned lessons for sure. So really candid quote there. Yeah, it's nice to see that. They've clearly reflected a lot on Scalebound and that entire process. And yeah, it's true. Microsoft definitely has been thrown under the bus repeatedly. And I'll bet you if Phil Spencer were sitting in here, he would probably say that he preferred it that way, that he would rather take the brunt of it rather than deflect blame to Platinum.
Yeah.
That's just not the kind of person that Phil is and the kind of leader he is. And it's just, the publisher will live to fight another day. Microsoft will live to fight another day. If they were to have thrown Platinum under the bus, fairly or not,
such a bad look.
Yeah.
it would have been a bad look, and a Platinum, a studio might not live to fight another day.
It makes me when I read this, it makes me think a lot of like EA, right? Where it was like EA canceled, and we don't really know anything about it, but it's like EA canceled Visceral's game,
Right.
and the initial gut reaction was, "Oh, what the hell, EA? Like,
Yeah.
what did you do?" And then it's like it kind of trickles out that like, no, that game was actually in a lot of trouble, and so it's kind of like there's two sides to each coin. It's
Yes.
not just like EA is a monster because Visceral was making this amazing game and it got
Right.
canceled for no reason.
Right.
That didn't happen. We don't know what happened, but this kind of sheds a little bit of light on how those decisions are made.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the Scalebound will always, unfortunately, be part of, unequivocally, the darkest era in Microsoft first-party history.
Right.
The Scalebound, Fable Legends, Lionhead, Crackdown era of first-party game development. But, the good news is, as we've noted a million times and will continue to note over the coming years, the plan now, Microsoft has a good plan, and they have been executing it step by step by step. And Gears 5 should hopefully be the first step in the new Microsoft, the new Microsoft. Actually, I guess it's Xbox Studios now, not Microsoft Game Studios anymore. But we'll go from Gears 5 to Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and then on into 2020 and the Scarlet launch after that. So should be some good stuff.
Miranda, you're excited for Gears 5, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I've just been sitting here thinking, like not trying to say anything. I'm just like,
I'm just like, I'm very excited for Gears 5. And I
excited.
remember me and you played a lot of Gears 4. We got to cover that together. And
yeah, I love covering that.
What a
I'm
We gotta.
ecstatic.
We need a like.
Oh wait, it was the trio because you reviewed it.
I did.
You did wikis, and I did all the features and gameplay.
Yeah.
we got to be back for Gears 5.
I want to review it.
bring
This
in the
one.
bring in the trio back.
I need to. We need like a co-op replay.
I've
of
been
Gears
trying to get
4.
someone to play co-op with me that again because I don't want to play alone. I played alone the first time, which
Yeah.
is fine, but I love playing co-op so much. It's like trying to get someone to play with me, but nobody would, and I was like,
Well, and
So I
Gears
was trying to
4
think about just having on the.
was pre Xbox One X, and the Xbox
Yeah.
One X version runs at like a crisp 60 FPS. and
Wow.
it's very good.
Whole
It's
new
very
world.
good for sure.
It's a very good game.
Gears has always been a console showcase title. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. It still is. But yeah, can't wait. I thought 4 just. I know you agree with this, Miranda. 4 just did such a good job of passing the torch, not only
Tomatoes.
developer wise, yes,
Yeah.
but within the universe to
Yeah.
the new generation of Gears. And yeah, I wonder if they'll continue to follow the Star Wars episode 7, 8, 9 model, and like I wonder if they're gonna kill off another major one of the old characters
Yeah,
in
it's getting out of
5.
their old. It's time for the new.
You know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna be sad, but if that happens,
I hope they don't. I don't know. I love them all so much. It's hard to say.
you know.
We'll see. If
it
the time
wouldn't-
is right.
If this is still a trilogy, so if Gears 6 is kind of the end of like I wouldn't at all be surprised if Marcus bites it by the end of 6.
Yeah.
Like, and then we get some tearful goodbye. I mean, look at the end of 3. Like, not just the end. All of 3 was filled with some tearful goodbyes.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if Marcus. He better not die in 5 though. I'll be very mad at the coalition if he bites the dust in 5. Don't do it. Come on.
Be safe.
Yeah.
He's got
Nice.
tomatoes to get back to. Some fierce words to say.
It's funny. I watching. My daughter's 7, and so she watches lots of cartoons from like mostly on Netflix. John DiMaggio voices a lot of cartoon characters, like because you can hear bits of Marcus in
That's
there,
funny.
where he'll be talking like, and you
Yeah,
just kind of
yeah,
he
yeah.
just like dips into it for a half second. It's like, oh, that's John DiMaggio. It's
Totally.
Marcus. All right,
We're some of his recent TV shows just to make.
you got to look him up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot. He has Adventure Time. He's in Chowder. That's all on you. Disenchantment.
He's really good.
He's in the B movie.
We got to get him in here. He's got to come in.
I'm trying to find like a new kids show that he's on. He has a lot of old ones.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you any off the top of my head.
He's in the Lego DC Comics Batman. Of course.
I'll bet his IMDb page is very
Yeah,
long.
I'm looking at the basic Google one.
Futurama's
Lots of
not a
Batman
thing
stuff.
that's still going, is it?
I don't think they should.
that
No,
ended.
I wasn't sure.
I think. Oh, lots of stuff. Anyway,
Old
just have a
Bender.
fun time. Look at all the incredible things he's done because it's so many.
He's done a lot of stuff. It's great. So you know who else does? I've noticed too. Clearly makes a good living, and more power to him as a kid's cartoon voice actor that you don't think. Patton Oswalt. I mean, he's a great comedian.
Oh, yeah.
But, like he does a ton of voices.
Oh.
He's in a ton of stuff.
He's in Star versus the Forces of Evil. I heard that's pretty good. Anyway,
Anyway,
Patton
Yeah.
Oswalt is in one of my favorite shows of all time, King of Queens.
yeah.
wait,
All right.
about cartoons. I'm here.
Another nice scoop for Video Games Chronicle. They've got a quote from Tekken's director, Katsuhiro Harada, saying the Tekken Cross Street Fighter. You remember that 7 years ago, we got Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and we were supposed to get the other side of that equation, and it's never come around. And Harada-san saying that it's harder to justify making that game because of Tekken 7's ongoing success as basically as a platform. He says, quote, Tekken 7 is very successful as a service game with its DLC. That makes it much harder to justify releasing another game while Tekken 7 is still doing so well. I was excited about Tekken Cross Street Fighter, and I have passion for it, but my logical and business thinking has me wondering if I should really do it, Harada said.
Yeah, I think about that game weirdly sometimes because I was just in the games library and I saw Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and it pops into my head that I'm like, oh yeah, there was supposed to be because that's taking the Tekken characters and making them 2D to fit in Street Fighter's world. So then it was supposed to be Tekken versus Street Fighter, bringing Street Fighter into 3D.
Yes.
And yeah, it's so strange that it just never happened because Capcom's was like, hey, we're doing this thing. And then theirs was out like instantly.
Right.
And then
It got developed and it got done.
yeah. And then it's like 8 years, 7 years.
Maybe it's just the thing to have in the back pocket for
Yeah.
rainy
Well,
day. Like,
and that's-
it's time to pull this one out.
And that's what, to me, like, it's Tekken 7, and again, more power to them, good for them. Tekken 7 must be doing really well for them to not even want to, like, they're holding you have permission to make a Street Fighter game card,
Yeah.
which
And they're
they've
like-
kept in their back pocket for 7 years.
Yep.
Like, that, if you're wondering, well, how well is Tekken 7 doing? Really, pretty well, because
Yep.
not a lot of people would sit on the permission
able to make a
the
Street Fighter
permission to
game.
make a Street Fighter game. Yeah. Yeah, so good for them, good stuff. But yeah, if anybody out there, I doubt anyone's still even holding out hope for that, because I think that ship sailed years ago. But yeah, I doubt at this point that's ever
Anything
coming
can
around.
happen.
That's true.
Who knows?
That's true. I think Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter, that would be the one that would set the world on fire. Like that would be the ultimate. But there's not really a lot of incentive, I think, for either one to do that.
Yeah, because like Mortal Kombat 11 comes out.
So successful, and
Well,
Street
I
Fighter
mean-
has continued.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like Street Fighter 5 has been out for a long time. And then Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite didn't do.
yeah. I mean, if anything, Mortal Kombat, like NetherRealm, is kind of they're the bigger game right
Right.
now.
Like
for a
the
while,
ball's more in their court.
when Street Fighter 4 came out, you'd have said it the other way. Like, oh yeah, Capcom, like Street Fighter's the bigger of the two, so it's like they'd be the one kind of doing NetherRealm a little bit of a favor. Now you'd probably argue it the other way,
Right.
Or if that ever happened. But yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see Ryu's or Ken or Ryu or any of those characters getting their rib cages ripped out of their chests. I don't think it's ever happening.
Capcom is on a roll right now with Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry 5. So
Yes.
I'm interested to see what fighting game they have coming up next.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Real quick, courtesy of Miranda Sanchez and the IGN Wikis team, just wanted to give a quick status update as we are approximately 4 weeks.
No.
Actually,
Goodness.
yeah. So
Coming.
It's May 7th as we record this. Microsoft's press briefing is June 9th. So there you go. About 4
I
weeks to
fly
go.
down on the
So
7th.
close.
Okay,
So, like,
one,
to me,
1 month
I'm
to go.
exactly 1 month away.
Oh, yeah.
Miranda, we have 17 games that are 100% confirmed.
Yes.
Many more that will be there and we can safely assume, but we have 17 locked, loaded, done,
Yes.
confirmed for E3. I thought we'd just kind of give people the update and let them know what those games are.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want me to read the list?
Please.
Okay, so we have Anthem, Apex Legends, Battlefield 5, Bee Simulator, Borderlands 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Doom Eternal, Dying Light 2, The Fisherman, Fishing Planet, Halo Infinite, Paranoia, Happiness is Mandatory, The Rift Breaker,
Oh, I need that.
Scavengers, The Sinking City, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Werewolf, The Apocalypse, Earthblood, and WRC 8. So, yeah, these are ones that have been either confirmed by the developers, by the E3 main page. I have links to most of these, like confirming where I got the source from. But yeah, these are 100% will be at E3 in some sort of form.
Yes.
You'll notice Anthem, Apex Legends, Battlefield, those are all going to be at EA Play. And some of those are just updates, like Apex Legends will probably get to
Right.
see Season 2 stuff.
Yeah. I mean, all 3 of those games are out. So
Yeah, so like they usually, by they I mean EA usually does a big thing at EA Play to update their current games and be like, hey, look at these things that we have coming out soon, sort of for these games that we have that are ongoing. So I'm sure we will see plenty more. This is about the point when this list grows a lot. This is when we start getting a lot of, hey, yeah, by the way, my game will be confirmed. So, by the way, if you're a developer out there listening and you want your game on this list, which is public, by the way, just hit me up on Twitter or email, whatever's cool. Definitely excited to grow this list and see what comes at E3.
And out of 17 so far, there's some heavy hitters on that list
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Yeah, I was going to say, can we just all 3 real quick choose the one we're most excited to see at E3?
I know what you're going to say, Mark.
Maybe.
Cyberpunk.
It's Cyberpunk.
But and that's not. But yeah, for me, I mean, it's Halo Infinite. I just,
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm very excited
The
for it.
curiosity factor is through the roof for me on Halo Infinite. There's so much riding on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a what did they call it? What did Bonnie call it in my interview with her? She called it like not a spiritual reboot, but like there was some phrasing she used that I can't quite remember now, but
But kind of along those lines, right?
yeah, a little bit. Like
a
not
soft-
a narrative
like a soft-
reboot.
soft
Right.
It's following the story. It's continuing the story that's in place. But yeah, new art style, new art direction, new engine. Potentially even a new kind of gameplay focus. If that tech trailer hinted at more of maybe like a potentially even an open world kind of
Right?
Halo situation.
Yeah, Halo is one of my bread and butter games. Like, it's so important to me. So I just
Yes.
really want to see what they're going to do with this next one. Yeah, I just couldn't be more interested to
We'll
see.
see.
what they
We'll
have to
make we'll talk more soon because people are already starting to ask me, Miranda, when is the Unlock crew going to do their E3 predictions? And
You only got a few weeks.
I know we've only got a few weeks, so I'm actually, you know what? We'll have to put it on the calendar because I'm out at E3 Judges Week next week, so I will not be on the podcast. And then I'm actually out the week after as well on a very interesting unfiltered assignment that I think everybody will like. This one's been in the works for a while. So you know what? Let's plan on it either maybe like the May 28th show.
All right.
So we'll look for that and we'll do our E3 predictions. So close to the show, but not like right before it. We'll get it going.
It's a breathing room there.
Yeah. Okay. Loot box, real quick, so we are starting to run out of time. This is a great question from Joshua, a.k.a. Chester Chivo. He's a longtime fan of IGN and Unlocked. I know that. What new feature would you like to see the Scarlet have that no prior Xbox has had? Any thoughts on this? This is
a hard one.
It could be software. It could be a hardware thing, and a controller, peripheral thing.
So mine was controller.
Yeah.
I'm a baby, and so I went with the easy choice, I think, which is I want a rechargeable controller.
See, I was that was the first thing that came to my
Yeah.
mind too.
Like, give me that. I don't
Yep.
want to buy batteries. Like, I hardly have to buy them anymore. I buy
Yeah.
them mostly for controllers.
Me
It's
too.
Very, very few products in my home. I don't like throwing them away. They're not good for the environment. Just let me charge out of the box. I know you can buy the things to make it a rechargeable controller, but just give me straight up recharge.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of people would love to see VR on there. Like, PlayStation's got their VR,
Yeah.
PC's got like 70 of them
We've
now.
got the new generation
Yeah.
now coming out with the Valve Index and
and
the,
VR doesn't really seem to be going away.
Yeah, the
like,
Rift
it was
S.
it was this thing where it was like, okay, it's coming, and then it came, and people were like, oh, now it's dead. It's not dead, but it's still pretty around. So
Yeah.
I think it's time for them to figure out something.
This is just
get
like
on there.
a super side note, but I really would like to keep voice commands. Like, I don't think it could be attached to the controller
Well,
because that falls asleep.
You're heading me off at the pass twice here,
Oh,
Miranda.
no, go ahead, please.
The first thought that I had too when I read this question and chose it for the show was rechargeable batteries in the controller.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was gonna say I'll go with a mic built into the console itself. Since because the controller can be asleep
Yeah,
and therefore a microphone wouldn't work. So. But yeah, put it on the console itself and a voice assistant, like a Google Home or a Siri or an Alexa, so that we can do the cool voice commands that Kinect had and more now, but without having a $100 peripheral that no one wants.
Yeah.
Well, they also need to figure out, and this isn't completely new, but they need to figure out getting some sort of camera for the thing. Like, I know we have Kinect, but so
What do you want that
for
though?
streaming.
yeah, for streaming.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah,
for people to
that's
stream
true.
from a PS4, you just got to get the $50 camera, put it on there.
Yeah.
and you can use any
So you need-
headset. Xbox, you still have to get a Kinect, and so it's like,
That or use other equipment to stream.
or unless you're using a PC.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay,
talking
yeah,
like
that's a good point then.
Proprietary. If you want to stream from your Xbox, they need to figure out that hardware since streaming is such a big.
On the
thing
note
now.
of the Xbox having or Scarlet having voice recognition, I would like it to follow like the general hubs of all those voice recognition systems and assistants, of having an option to like physically go turn off the voice recognition. That way it can't always listen to you. My Google Home Hub has a really nice thing where a light is on, it shows that it's not listening because I have turned off its ability to listen to me. So
yeah,
that would be
it's
like
an easy privacy thing to have in there. Yeah, I agree. That'd be good.
Those things are so weird. I was talking with, I don't remember who it was. Brian Malkowicz. He's in our carpool. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know I got a Tesla. And we were talking about Tesla. And he says, I swear to God, I have not Googled Tesla. I have nothing. He's like, I get Tesla ads on my phone all the time now. He's like, and I have not looked into Tesla, nothing.
So whenever people say these sorts of stories, I think of that like moment in SpongeBob where Squidward gets sent to the future and he's on the floor like curling up and just saying future. If SpongeBob kids will know. It's just very
SpongeBob
goofy.
kids will know. I don't know. I think it's likely that he typed something in and just forgot, but like I don't know. It's a little
something with Tesla.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, with as much as we've been talking about Teslas on the ride, I think it's likely that he looked something up, but he's like, I'm telling you, man, I have not looked anything up.
I mean, people
and
say
now
that.
I'm getting Tesla.
I'm
ads
telling you,
all the
man,
time.
a giant bat.
I'm telling you, man, Elon Musk is in my Twitter feed.
You never know.
It's been good fun.
Yeah.
Got to do it. Thank you, Joshua. If you have a loot box question, email it in, unlocked@ign.com. We'd love to hear from you. Quickly, Unlock Block Trivia is happening now.
That's
All
a
right.
new one. I've never heard that before.
It's you're not a long time listener to the show then, Mark.
Oh, well, what are you going to do?
It's had dug that one up. That's from the old days.
Oh.
Trevor Monk from Tucson, Arizona. His gamer tag is Sith, but SYTH as in Sith with a Y. Sith Lord Kenobi, where the O is a 0. Trevor asks, you know about Mortal Kombat's animalities?
No. I don't
You
know.
really don't?
Wait, really?
I never knew this was a thing until I read this. I was like, wait,
Yeah.
what?
Oh, that's so funny.
A combatant
Excuse me,
can
but-
change into an animal that's similar to them. For example, Sub-Zero turned into a polar bear. However, as Trevor notes, not all combatants' animalities were obvious. Here's the question. What animal did Scorpion change into for his animality? And a quick reminder that we have Miranda at 4 points for this year. Destin in the lead at 5, so a chance to tie him up here. We've got Brandon at 3. He is, by the way, he's not here because of E3 meetings. Brandon is heroically handling all of the editorial team's scheduling.
Yeah.
Because it basically has to go through one person, otherwise it's a complete disorganized nightmare. But it's a heck of a sword to fall on for that one person to
He comes up to
schedule
me
for the whole
yesterday,
team.
and he just like rests his hands on my shoulder. And he goes, hey, buddy, can you do Unlock for me tomorrow? I can't. I'm booking E3.
Yeah. That's a good
just
Brandon
can't.
impression too. So
No, he got like real close. That's why I'm
yeah.
getting real close.
and Mark, you are on the board with 1 point.
Yeah,
So you got a chance. You got a chance. Just stay
It's a
in it
good
here.
thing Destin's not here because he probably knows this.
Destin does play a lot of Mortal Kombat.
true.
He's spent the last 2 months of his working life dealing with nothing but Mortal Kombat.
Well, he just made an all fatalities video that's like an hour long. I don't know if that has animalities or friendships,
It
but
was really fun seeing him record all those in the morning meetings. It's just like, wow, that was goofy.
yeah, I like walk up to his desk and he's got like a PSP, a Dreamcast, and I'm like, what are
So
you doing?
I'm pretty new to the Mortal Kombat series. I started with 10. 10 was like my first real Mortal Kombat, aside from playing in arcades and stuff. So I'm just amazed that this was a thing, and I love it. I love it so much.
So
Now you're gonna go back to your desk and watch them.
I know.
yeah, we
absolutely.
get back to Trevor's question here. Scorpion's animality did he turn into a lion, a monkey, a penguin, or a tarantula? So I don't know this because
know.
again, I've said this before. My Mortal Kombat knowledge basically ended after Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcades. I was all in it back then, but not in the modern era. So I don't know this one.
This is really hard.
I literally have zero idea.
Take a guess. We got to get out of here so Beyond
Okay,
can get in
we
soon.
got stuff to do. I'm gonna.
I got one
You go
to
ahead.
too.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
You first.
Shoot. I don't know. Let's say tarantula. Why not?
I feel
Gross.
like tarantula makes
Gross.
too much sense.
That's that was my problem. I was like, that one makes sense. And I was like,
Like a fellow arachnid.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go on the other
Yeah.
side of the choice table and go for A, lion.
Lion. Okay. Well, sadly, no points added
Dang
to
it.
the board this
Is it
week.
monkey?
It's penguin.
Penguin.
The penguin.
that was the one I was least.
Excuse
Yeah.
me? What?
Good job, Trevor, stumping everybody. If you would like to try and stump the panel, send in your Xbox trivia question. Pardon me. Please note the correct answer, but include 4 multiple choice answers, and you can send it in to unlocked@ign.com.
Miranda, do you know that there are babalities where they turn into a baby?
I've heard.
Babies, not women, not like
babes.
scantily
I
clad
have
women.
heard of that one.
Yeah,
So I know about
that one's real cute too.
Yeah. Oh man, penguin. Really?
I want to go back and watch that one
Fun.
specifically right now.
Yeah.
Gonna do it after the show's over,
really
which is
cute.
now. Show's
Great.
over.
We did it.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
Miranda, give us a plug. Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, absolutely. So please check out the E3 Wiki. Keep it bookmarked. Keep refreshing it. I will be updating it as much as I possibly can. Also, in regards to my trip to Japan, I went to Studio Trigger, A+, and Arc System Works to go check out the Kill la Kill game, which is unfortunately not going to be on Xbox, but it's on everything else. It's like, what? Why? Anyway, if you have any curiosity about that, we have the first story mission up on IGN and our
Nice.
YouTube, and that is an exclusive. No one else has that. We haven't seen anything from the story. If you don't know much about it, it's kind of like an alternate version of Kill la Kill's main story, but featuring Satsuki, who was kind of the antagonist in the show. So if you haven't watched the show, you kind of need to watch in order to understand anything that's going on. So just a heads up on that. And I think that's all for right now.
Good.
Fantastic, Mark.
Twitter at Mark_Medina. Working on a Sea of Thieves piece where it's just more or less like an opinion refresh of like, hey, I haven't played the game in a year and trying it out again. So like it's one of those things where it's like if you read the piece, understand that everything is new to me. The Megalodon's new, Brigantine's new, all that stuff, or Brigante, I don't know what it's called. All that stuff's new because I have not played. So that is going to be hitting Thursday or Friday.
Nice.
Then working on EU3 prep
Yep.
stuff that is boring and nobody wants to.
I think the last time I played Sea of Thieves was when you and I played, Miranda. I think that might have been my last go. So that's been almost a year for me too.
I'm playing all the old, like I hadn't played Blackout in a while, and I'm super hardcore back into Blackout too right now.
I kind of want to check that out since they had the big update. I mean, they've had a lot of stuff.
Super fun.
I've been playing Apex and Dota.
Yeah.
Got to grind for that MMR. Anyway.
I played like 50 hours of Days Gone, and I was like,
Sorry.
I'm going to play this when I get back from vacation. And I went to vacation, and I came back, and I never touched it except for yesterday, and I played it for 5 minutes, and I was like, nope. Done.
You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Again, IGN Unfiltered, out now with Dennis Dyack. Last month, Yves Guillemot. There are 40-something episodes now. Go check them out if you want to hear cool stories from interesting game developers. Yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for me and for us. This was Unlocked 392. Thanks, everybody, and we will see you. Well, I'll be gone, but I leave it in the good hands of Miranda, Brandon. Maybe, Mark, they'll have you back next week
Maybe.
if you're available.
We'll see.
And the rest of the crew
Probably.
will be back next week.